Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Confesso Padwani, and the purpose of this video is about my criminal record. And I'm hoping by talking to you via video that you can share this video with your young children or people that you may know that have young children so that they don't have issues, because I'm going to explain to the best of my ability what type of effect a criminal record can cause to yourself as well as to those that you love. Now, I have a wife and I have 3 children that are underage and they live with me. And my criminal record takes a severe effect in my family as well as those that I love surrounding me that are outside of my family, friends that are very close to me. However, the reason why I'm making this video is because a lot of people come up to me. Now, I'm not unable to work for myself because I do a little bit of work for myself, but I'm fully equipped. I know how to work on houses. I know electrical and plumbing. Obviously, I know roofing, siding, shingling. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. I also know how to work on automobiles, and I can do just about anything with an automobile as far as rebuilding an engine, a transmission, brakes, chassis, just about anything to electrical and the computers of the vehicle. I also know how to cook. I'm a wonderful cook. I've cooked for several weddings. I've cooked for several outings. And I'm very grateful to have done that because it makes me feel good because people has complimented my foods. And that makes me feel very, very good because I love to cook. And so I do have all these functions. However, they don't help me because when I apply for a job in different facilities or even restaurants or anywhere that I go, apparently my criminal record follows me. So now, let me tell you the domino effect of a criminal record. Because I have a criminal record, I can't get a stable job. Needless to say, I can't even find a job. But by not having a job, it alters my credit. I'm not able to build up credit, as well as because I don't have credit and can't build up the appropriate credit. I can't buy a car, I can't buy a house. I've tried to get loans to maybe try to open up a small fast food place to be able to provide for my family. And I cannot even do that. I wish I had the money, but I can't, and we struggle. So all this is a result of a criminal record, not an education, because an education is wonderful to have. It's not my education that's causing the problem. It's my criminal record. Because I am well educated and I know how to do many trades. So that's not the problem. I know it's my criminal record. So let me tell you, many, many years ago, and I'm talking back in 1992, I lived in Paterson, New Jersey. And I was arrested for two pellet guns. Not real guns, pellet guns. It's similar to a BB gun. They were in the trunk of my car. They were still in the package. They were not used. And I was arrested for them and I was charged for it. My second charge was in 1993, and that was for burglary. I went to a church. I knocked on the door. I went to go to Axe to get food. The alarm went off. I ran, and I was charged for burglary the following day. And I'm going to show you all the documents so that you can see that what I'm telling you is the truth. My third charge was in 2000, and that was in Sparta, New Jersey. I moved from South Jersey to North Jersey, Sparta, New Jersey, and the children from the middle school bus was taunting me and my son. My son was in 2nd grade at the time. Now he's 21 years old. He's an adult now. But at the time, he was in 2nd grade, and he was about 7 years old. And they were calling us different names, racial names. I'm not going to say all those names on this recording because it's very nasty names. But basically, they called us, the lower names, Spig, go on the banana boat, go back to your hometown, and everything like that. And I stepped on the school bus, and obviously, I confronted the bus driver, and I was arrested. And I got arrested for unlicensed entry of a structure, and it was downgraded to defiant trespassing. So I'm going to get into each and every one of them, And the reason why I'm explaining this is because there is a glitch between the governor's office and the Superior Court of New Jersey in Paterson. And this is all in New Jersey. The New Jersey Superior Court has me down in their system for 2 felony convictions, which is the pellet guns as well as the burglary, and I also have a misdemeanor. And that is registered at the Superior Court. However, on my criminal abstract that they pull out when you apply for a job, or in my case, I'm trying to not only get a job, but I'm also applying for a pardon through the governor's office. On my abstract, it only shows that I have 1 felony conviction. So in the state of New Jersey, if you have 1 felony conviction, you are entitled, after so much time, you are entitled to an expungement, which is understandable. And that's where the conflict comes in, because I can't go to the Superior Court and apply for an expungement because on my criminal record it shows I have 1 felony conviction, but in their system it shows I have 2. So the governor's office reads that document from the Federal Bureau of Investigation when they get their printout, and it shows I only have 1 felony conviction. So they automatically assume, and to this day, that I can get an expungement, and I cannot. So it's a serious situation because I may be stuck with my criminal record for the rest of my life. So I want you guys to pass this video on to as many people as possible, and I'm going to get into a more greater detail. And at the end of this video, I'm also going to introduce my wife and my 3 children. They're currently eating right now. And I'm going to introduce them to you, and I'll close the video at that point. So first, let me go to the first charge, and that is the unlawful possession of a weapon. So I have that document right here, and I'm going to show it to you. Okay, so that's unlawful possession of a weapon. Now, I'm going to explain to you. I had these pellet guns, 2 pellet guns, in the trunk of my car, still in the package. My cousin went down to the police station while we lived in Paterson and told the police officers that I was selling firearms on the street, which it was not true. I wasn't selling firearms. I had 2 pellet guns in the trunk of my car. Anyway, I went down to the police department, and the detectives there asked me, did I have any drugs or weapons in the vehicle? And I told them no. They asked me if they can search the vehicle. I told them, yes, you're more than welcome to search the vehicle. They did so. When they searched the vehicle, they automatically went to the trunk. They opened the trunk. They found the 2 pellet guns in there. They escorted me into the police department. They talked to me for a few minutes. They were going to release me because they didn't even know that the pellet guns were an illegal item in the state of New Jersey. However, there was a lieutenant or a sergeant that came downstairs and was talking to the detective, and the detective showed them the pellet guns, and obviously at that point in time they were told that they were illegal. And I was obviously charged with the unlawful possession of 2 pellet guns, where the detectives could have said, Mr. Pedwani, you have no criminal record at this point in time. We'll hold these weapons, go down and apply for a permit to have these weapons. And I would have done that. Absolutely, I would have done that because I wouldn't have wanted a criminal record. But that wasn't the option that I had. They arrested me. They charged me. And while you are charged or pending charges, you cannot apply for a firearms license. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. It is against the law. So while I was charged, I could not apply for one. But if they would have held them, I would have obviously done that. So this is the police report. The weapons were not used in the commission of a crime at all. The weapons were not used in the commission of a crime. And if you read down here, it says that the pellet guns were found in my vehicle. So that is my unlawful possession of a weapon charge for having 2 pellet guns in the trunk of my car in 1992. Now, the state of New Jersey doesn't broadcast that, what is a weapon and what is not a weapon. So I'm going to tell you basically what is a weapon. If you go to your backyard and you cut a tree branch that looks like a Y, most of us know it as a slingshot. If you add rubber bands to it and you launch anything from it, it is a weapon. You can be charged with a felony charge because that is a weapon. Many years ago when I was little, my dad used to take 2x4s and he would put a clothes hanging thing on the end and a nail on the other end, and he would put rubber bands and we would shoot bottle caps with that, and we would just shoot them up in the air. That is a weapon. Anything that is propelled by spring, air, or any type of device that makes it go faster than what it's supposed to go for is a weapon. So straight off the door, if you do this, it is a felony crime. It is an illegal weapon. So I'm giving you advice. Don't go to a tree. Don't cut a tree. Don't put rubber bands on a piece of wood. You'll be charged, or your child will be charged with the possession of an illegal weapon, basically, unlawful possession of a weapon. So when I was charged, I was obviously pled guilty because they were my pellet guns, and I was given probation. And during the time that I was on probation, my family, my mother and my father, moved to South Jersey, Atlantic County. And at that time, I couldn't get my probation transferred to Atlantic County. So I got stuck in Paterson, New Jersey by myself. I had no assistance for food. I had no job. I had basically no income coming in. And my family had moved. They had no choice because they had bought a house prior to me being charged. So, they had to move. And I stayed in their old house while they still owned it. And during that time, while I was on probation, there was like 4 days that I went without eating. There was a church on the corner, because I lived on Van Houten Street. I lived at exactly 424 Van Houten Street. And on the corner was a church called St. Paul's. And that's on the corner of Broadway and East 18th and also Van Houten Street. Takes the whole corner. One night in 1993, I was so hungry. I didn't want to rob nobody. I didn't want to steal nothing. I didn't want to break into no one's house. I didn't want to do nothing illegal because I wasn't looking for trouble. I went down to the church. I knocked on the door, and there was a piece of wood that was ajar in the door. And I opened the door, and I yelled in, "Is anyone here?" And the alarm went off, and I ran. And the reason why I ran was because I was on probation. I was scared, I was afraid, and I was young and obviously naive, and I ran. So that was my second charge. So I'm going to show you those documents right here, so you don't think I'm kidding. Now, mind you, I'm not embarrassed because of these charges, because these charges do not reflect the person that I am. I'm an honest individual. I've worked very hard to try to take care of my family, and I do everything I can. I don't do drugs. I don't drink alcohol or nothing like that. And anyone that asks me, I'm very honest and I'm very open about what my charges are. I'm not embarrassed by them. Those that get pulled over by the police or any other person and they say, "Oh, have you ever been arrested?" And they say, "Oh, no, man, I've never been arrested." Those are the people that are embarrassed of their charges. And the reason why they're embarrassed of their charges is because they know they did wrong. I'm not embarrassed of my charges because I know for a fact in my heart I didn't do no wrong. So I'm not embarrassed by them. So let me show you these documents. So this is the next document. This is from 1993. And I'm doing this very slowly so you can see exactly my charges. That was my charges. Now, I also received a document because, like I said, I'm attempting to clear my record. And this is a document that was actually from the Superior Court of New Jersey, and it was sent to me in a full packet. So I'm gonna bring it real slow, and you can check it. It's an actual document. And you can actually go to the Paterson Superior Court, and you can even review this document. I'm going to go real slow. And for those that cannot read English but understand English, I will read this for you. So I'm holding it very slow. And this is the second page. I'm going to do this very slowly, so you can pause it to where you can see it. There's nothing on the bottom. There's nothing on the bottom of the document. and there's nothing on the back of the document. So I'm going to read the lowercase of this document, and this was for the burglary. It says the defendant was interviewed by the undersigned officer at the Passaic County Criminal Division Hangar office on April 7, 1994. At that time, the official investigation recorded and indictments were discussed with him. In other words, they were discussed with me. Mr. Pedwani reframed his guilt in the instant offense, okay, and stated that he was hungry and looking for food when he went to the church. He indicated that as he opened the door of the church and stepped inside, the alarm sounded, and he was afraid because he was on probation, so he ran. Now that is the truth, and I'm telling you this so you understand this. And it also says the defendant I had no weapons or nothing like that. You can read that. I denied I had any weapons because I didn't have any weapons. I went there for food. Now the following page states as follows. Now this is from the church, so really pay attention to this one because, like I said, I went to the church to get food, to get some help. It says here, the undersigned officer contacted Tracy Lynn at the St. Paul's Church regarding her comments as well as her verification of any losses sustained as a result of this incident. Reverend Lynn stated that the St. Paul Church decided to file charges against the defendant to make a statement that the church is there to help and they will not tolerate those individuals that commit crimes upon the church. She also states as follows, okay? However, Reverend Tracy Lynn indicates that she received a letter from the defendant, that's me, stating that he was sorry, he committed the offense, and he is trying to get his life together. She further indicates that nothing was taken from the church and they would not like to see the defendant committed to jail term. Now, the reason why I wrote the letter to Miss Tracy Lynn at the time was because I was trying to get my life together. I was charged with the possession of a weapon. I wasn't looking for trouble, but with the possession of a weapon, I knew I could have got that removed from my criminal record eventually. I wasn't looking for trouble, and I really didn't expect to be charged for burglary for going to a church for food. So that's my second charge. And I wanted everyone to understand this because everyone continuously asks me, why can't you find a job? And when I go to a job and I tell them what I did, what my crimes were, and actually show them the documents, they truly believe that I'm lying. They think that I manifest these documents up just to try to get around everything. And I'm going to explain why they think that. Now, my third charge is the unlicensed entry of a structure. Now, once again, I told you already that I stepped on a school bus because the kids were, saying things that they shouldn't say. Well, let me explain. When I moved to Sparta, New Jersey, the kids, while I waited out there with my son, would throw items out of the bus and call us racial names. I went to the Board of Education. The Board of Education said they couldn't do nothing unless something happens on that bus or, to the bus. They can't really do nothing. So I called the bus company. The bus company said that they cannot do nothing because I have to contact the police department. So I contacted the police department as well as my son's school and the middle school that these kids went to, and they told me to contact the police department. So I contacted the police department. The police department told me they cannot do anything unless something happens, unless a crime is committed. So I'm assuming that when I told the police department that these kids are throwing items out of the bus at me and my son and calling us names, that racialism or racism was not obviously a crime, I guess, in their eyes. However, needless to say, at the end of the day, another week went by, and I stepped on the school bus. The bus driver opened the door, and I stepped on the school bus, and I confronted the bus driver. I asked him very politely, can you please stop these kids from throwing things at me and my son and calling us names? I didn't threaten the man. I didn't say nothing out of the way. I didn't hit nobody. I didn't threaten children on the bus. I stepped off the bus. After that, About half an hour later, 4 police cars showed up. They arrested me. They didn't want to hear anything I had to say from the Sparta Police Department. They didn't want to hear nothing I had to say. Sometime later, I went to court. When I went to court, there were some kids from the bus that came to court, and I thought that they were there to testify against me, and I found out that they were not there to testify against me. They were actually there to testify for me. When my lawyer found that out, and I found that out, and the kids apologized to me for the issue that had occurred, I felt so wonderful. My lawyer talked to the prosecutor talked to the judge. Obviously, all the charges were dismissed, and I was told that I would have to pay a fine for stepping on the school bus. And the bus driver was transferred to another bus, so the incident wouldn't occur any further. So, obviously, I paid a fine. But recently, a few years back in 2006, I was trying to clear my record. I found out that I actually did have a charge from the Sparta Municipal Court. So that's this document right here. Now also, if you look at the date, excuse me, if you look at the date of my arrest, and you look in the archives for the Sparta arrests, for people that have been arrested, locally in Sparta, New Jersey, and you go to the newspaper, I believe it's the Herald News or whatever, you'll find an article that will also show that the newspaper got wind of this, and they had spoke to people, and they even put it in a newspaper how the kids on the bus were taunting me and my son, and obviously I was charged. So, obviously I was charged for unlicensed entry of a structure. I just showed you the document, and it was downgraded to a defiant trespassing, and my fine was $407, and there was no probation and no jail, and I'll show you that again. It's right here on the bottom. If you can see that, it's $407. So that's my third charge. Now let me explain to you. These charges personally are ridiculous, because I know that these charges really don't make any sense, because I really didn't commit a crime. But they're there, and I'm trying to get them off, and obviously I may be stuck with them for the rest of my life. Now, a lot of police officers, and like I said, I had a county commissioner that had talked to me, and when they talked to me and they seen these papers, they couldn't believe it. It actually shocked them. And believe it or not, the county commissioner even checked to see if my documents were legit, and he found out that they were. So he knew that I wasn't lying. And a lot of police officers here in Florida did the same exact thing. They looked into my documents, and they found out that I'm not lying. So they know that it's like a pathetic thing, and they feel bad for me because I can't even get a job at the police department motor pool. And it's that sad. So now let me explain to you why I may be stuck with this situation. So most people are familiar with a criminal abstract, and then some people aren't. This is what a criminal abstract looks like from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You can see it right there. This is what it looks like. This is the letter. There is some information that has been blotted out. For security purposes, my social security number, date of birth, stuff like that has been blotted out. So these are the two documents that are basically screwing me over. And I'm going to hold them so that you see it. Like I said, I'm not embarrassed by them. As you can see up here on this side, it says possession of a weapon, but it does not have a felony conviction. If you see that, nowhere is on here it has a felony conviction. If you look just below that, you'll see the burglary, and the burglary that is circled has a felony conviction. Now, if you look further down, you'll find that the second one right here, you'll see guilty right there. See it? Guilty. That was for the $407 that's right here that I had to pay. And that was for the defiance trespassing. Now, normally in the Superior Court of New Jersey, if you have one felony conviction, you can apply for an expungement through the Superior Court of New Jersey. In my case, the Superior Court of New Jersey has it recorded that I have 2 felony convictions. So by that being said, I know I can't get an expungement. Now, I did receive this document from Legal Aid back in 2006. And like I said, I was trying to get my record clean. And that's when I found out if you have 2 felony convictions, you cannot get it expunged in the Superior Court of New Jersey. So the Superior Court of New Jersey is a dead end. I cannot get my record expunged that direction. Recently, in 2015, I was told by Miss Myra at the Superior Court of New Jersey, because I can't get my record clean that way, that I may file for a clemency pardon. And a clemency pardon, that's what this is here. This is considered a clemency pardon. And this is for the state of New Jersey. And this goes directly to the parole board, as well as to the governor's office. And every bit of this document I either typed myself, filled in myself, or obviously gave the courts photocopies of every document that's needed for just these 3 charges. Now, I received a letter back from the governor's office, and that letter is a very peculiar letter. And let me put my hands on it for a moment. And that's this letter. This is the letter I received from the governor's office. You can see it's a legit letter. And on paragraph 2, if you read the first paragraph, paragraph 2 basically states, upon receiving your application, it has been determined. This means they determined that you may be eligible for an expungement. Be advised that an expungement process is under the jurisdiction of the Superior Court in the county in which your convictions were adjudicated. So basically what they're saying is I can file for an expungement with the Superior Court. And I know that I can't. The reason I can't is because I know I have 2 felony convictions. But the governor's office do not see 2 felony convictions. They read this last document that is from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, as well that comes out from the state police in the state of New Jersey. And if you review this line right here, it's the 3rd one down. It says it has a number 1. I'm going to try to put my finger on it right there. Okay, a number 1. It says felony convictions. I only have 1. That's what's recorded, even at the FBI department. So the courts have 2 felony convictions, but in the paperwork that anyone sees around the world, it only shows I have 1 felony conviction. So I can't go to the Superior Court because I have 2 felony convictions. I can't get an expungement. And I can't go to the governor's office because I need more than 1 felony conviction to go to the governor's office. So my documents only say 1, but the courts have it recorded as 2. So I asked the courts if they can fix it, and believe it or not, the courts said they can't, because for a crime that was committed 20 years ago or 19 years ago, they can't go back in time and, resend the documents and have it fixed. They can't do that. So obviously I may be stuck with this issue for maybe the rest of my life. So here's the deal. And I want everybody to understand this. If you're looking for trouble, you're going to find it. Sometimes when you're not looking for trouble, it comes to you. However, if you do get charged misdemeanor or even felony, that's not the end of your life. Try to avoid any further charges at that point in time. Because in every state, you have a certain amount of time, and then you can get it expunged. And, it won't affect you. But if you think that you get a charge and then you continue to get charges, that's when you're going to have problems. And in my situation, it just came to me. I had the possession of the 2 pellet guns. I didn't know they were illegal. There could have been other solutions to the situation, but the police department made the solutions for me, and they chose to arrest me, and I couldn't get a permit, obviously. I could have got one if they would have gave me 30 days. Most people, they give them some time to go down and get get a license. I guess I wasn't one of them. The burglary for the church, was strictly from hunger. I wasn't out to do anything wrong. I knocked on a door, and obviously I got arrested. And, being a parent, I stepped on a school bus thinking I was doing the right thing. After 9/11, don't ever step on a school bus. Matter of fact, don't even think about stepping on a school bus. They might even charge you. They might even charge you seriously for even thinking about going on a school bus. Because I don't know if that's a charge. I mean, there's so many things going on since 9/11. So now my family might be done eating, and I want to introduce you to my family because these are the people whom I love, and these are the people that it's affecting. But before I introduce my family, I ask you to pass this video on to as many people as possible. Allow them to see this video, and hopefully it might even help somebody out. It might even help a parent explain to a child, look, watch this person. So please pass this video on. It may help somebody out. It may help somebody out in the world. I don't know. I hope it does. I hope it prevents other people from getting in trouble. At least that's my goal, to try to help as many people as I can avoid trouble. So beyond that, with God's blessing, if the governor can correct what he corrects, or the courts can correct what they correct, maybe at some point in time, I'd be able to get my credit right, maybe be able to start my own little business or something like that. If I can't find a job, like I said, I love to cook. Maybe, there's a lot of little restaurants around here that are shut down that nobody's using right here in Florida. And maybe I can start my own little fast food business and provide for my family that way if necessary. Like I said, I'm a hard worker, and I'm content to do something, and I'm gonna try. Just because this has occurred to me doesn't mean that it is the end of my world, but I'm gonna continue to try to get it removed. So, then again, I might hit the lottery. Anything can happen, but and that's just like for anybody else. And that still wouldn't stop me from working, because even if I did that, I'd still want to work, because I just don't want to depend on nobody. I don't. I want to depend on myself. That's the way my father raised me, to depend on myself. So please pass this video on, and I'm going to be right back, and I'm going to try to introduce you to my family if they're done eating, and I hope so. Hold on 1 minute, please. Hi, I'm back again. My family's done eating, and I wanted to introduce to you, just behind me is my wife, Cynthia Delgado. She's been my wife for 10 years. We're actually not married. We're common law married because we can't really afford a wedding. So that goes to show you how much money we really do have. However, I want to introduce you to my 3 children. This is my eldest daughter. This is Catalina, and wonderful girl, straight A student in school. And these are the individuals that I'm hurting because I can't find a job. This is my next daughter. My next one down, this is Karina. This is Karina. She's 5 years old, and she's just about ready to attend school. So I love my kids, and like I said, these are the ones that I'm hurting. And this is my little man. This is my little man, Manny. He's a little upset. He don't want to be on the camera a little bit, but he's a little shy from the camera, you can see. But this is my little man, and his name's Manuel, and his middle name is after my dad, Santi Paduani. So I wanted to introduce to you my loving family that, with all due respect, I'm hurting because of my criminal record. And I hope that you pass this video on, and hopefully the state of New Jersey will change their laws, because I don't think that, having one felony conviction, or at least try to change their laws to the point that where people have a certain type of crime or a level of crime that whether it's an indictable offense or a felony conviction, that it's at a certain level that they can be approved for a expungement through the courthouse. So, or change their laws to a higher standard where instead of it just being one felony conviction, that you can get it expunged with either 2 or 3 felony convictions, depending on what the crimes were. And that's what they should base it on, is what the crimes were, not just because you've been convicted of something. I think it should be off of the crimes that it was. So I appreciate you guys watching this video. And like I said, may God bless everybody. Have a wonderful night. And pass this video on. Please pass this video on to as many people as you can. I would truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. God bless each and every one of you, regardless what your religion is. God bless you guys, and have a wonderful night. Thank you.